don't stay stuck because they lack talent. They stay stuck because they repeat the same internal story until it becomes their identity. Sometimes in coaching, I hear, they don't like me. I'm too old. I'm unemployed. No one will choose me. I'm not leadership material. So I ask, where's your evidence? What's your evidence? And most of the time, there isn't any. So let's change that story that is keeping you stuck. Welcome back to Sip on This. It's the show where we talk about love, life, careers, and the story you keep telling yourself that is keeping you stuck. If this is your first time joining me, then welcome. I'm your host, Deirdre Haggerty, an ICF certified coach and the founder of Coaching with Miss D, which offers life, relationship, and career coaching to help you align your values and vision for life. I'm so excited you're joining me today to have a conversation, coffee or tea in hand, as we chat about life, careers, relationships, and all the little things that shape who we are. I won't lecture you or tell you what to do. It's just the two of us in a coffee shop chatting about topics that make us laugh or drive us nuts. Like today's conversation, which is about the story you keep telling yourself. So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the biggest obstacle in your life is not another person? It's not your job. It's not the school you go to. It's not the place that you live. And sometimes it is, sure. But maybe it's the story you've been telling yourself. As a coach, I hear the same kinds of stories all the time. They don't like me. Nobody's going to hire me. I'm too old. I'm too young. I didn't get chosen on the board because I'm unemployed. They're looking for somebody better. They're looking for somebody older. They're looking for somebody smarter. Sometimes those stories are true. Sure, okay. Most of the time, they are assumptions. And I promise you, assumptions are dangerous because we eventually treat them as facts. The assumptions then become self-fulfilling prophecies that are just not true. And when this happens in coaching, I will ask the clients, what is your evidence? A lot of times there's just silence because there isn't any. It's simply become the story they've repeated so often that they actually believe it. And I'm not going to say this never happened to me. Of course it did. But here's what fascinates me about this. I know people who run marathons. So think about that. Think about what it takes to actually run a marathon. I don't know if I would ever want to do this, but there are people who do it. They train for months. They wake up before sunrise. They run in the rain. They run when they're tired. They push through pain. They cross the finish line after, 26.2 miles? And then they won't apply for a board position. They won't introduce themselves to someone new. They won't go solo to a new gathering or networking event. They won't ask for the promotion. They won't send the email. Why? Why? Think about that. If that's you, why? Maybe it's because they and you are convinced you will be rejected. And maybe you will be, and maybe you won't be. The courage exists. It's already there. They're just limiting where they use it. We all have strengths. Maybe you're disciplined physically. Maybe you're an incredible parent. Maybe you're a fabulous listener. Maybe you've built a successful business. Maybe you've survived things that should have broken you. So why aren't you bringing that same confidence into the rest of your life? I hear people say, I'm staying in my lane. Well, girl, sometimes your lane is way too small. Maybe it's time to widen it. Your confidence shouldn't only show up at the gym or at work or at church or with your family. Confidence should become a part of who you are, not where you are. And I did a podcast episode about this, so I encourage you to go back and take a look at this. Here's my challenge this week. Here's what I'm looking for you to do. I want you to pay attention to the story you're repeating. And before I got into this seat, I left the bathroom mirror and I started to say something to myself. And I knew what this episode was about because I had just put it in the teleprompter. And I looked in the mirror and I said, no. You're not doing this. You're not telling yourself that story. I should know better. But even I am challenged in this aspect of my life. I help people to push through it. Guess what? I'm human. I suffer from it as well. So I want you to pay attention to the story you're repeating. Ask yourself, is it a fact? Is it a fact? How do you know it's a fact? How do you know that? How do you know you weren't chosen to be a member of that particular board unless you've asked them why you weren't chosen to be on that board? You're saying it's because you're currently unemployed, but this board has nothing to do with employment. So ask yourself, is it a fact? Or is it just familiar? Is it a pattern? Is it something that's occurred in your life and you've just made this part of who you are? Because those are very different things. The story you tell yourself eventually becomes the life you live. Choose it very carefully. Train for the marathon. Meet a new person. Apply for the position. Say to the person online in the grocery store, this week, do one extra thing that makes you feel uncomfortable. If you change nothing, nothing changes. Sip on that. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. And before you go, if these conversations resonate with you and you've been wishing for a space to challenge some of those stories in real time, I want to invite you to Coffee with Miss D. It's a free monthly online gathering for anyone navigating change, reinvention, relationships, career transitions, and discovering what comes next. There's no pressure, there's no perfect answers, just real conversation, reflection, connection, and maybe one next step. I just did a podcast about that as well, so you might want to go take a look so that you could see exactly what Coffee with Miss D is all about. And grab your coffee and join me. Our next Coffee with Miss D is on Friday, August 6th at 10 a.m. and it continues on the first Friday of every month. You can register at coachingwithmissd.com/coffee. I would love to see you there. Please share with someone who might need a coach today. And subscribe, and visit coachingwithmissd.com for more resources. Until next time, keep sipping and remember to live your life as your authentic self. Your version, no one else.